Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of On the Mic with Mike. I'm your host, Mike Larkin, and joining me today is Sessions wrestler, black belt, mixed martial artist, a woman of all trades, and a woman who applies her craft in amazing fashion, Miss Amada. Amada, it's a pleasure and a privilege. How are you?
It's a pleasure. I'm good. Yes, I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. It's great to have you on the show because you do a lot of great work with your size, your stature, and everything that we see on the Sessions wrestling side of things. And I'm really happy to have you. So I have to ask you to jump right into this conversation. How did you get involved into the Sessions wrestling world? Because we see a lot of fluidity, we see a lot of Christmas in your work. So how did you gravitate towards the session wrestling industry?
Oh yeah, it's kind of a long, well, not that long of a story. Yeah, I was. This is a while ago, like years ago. I was studying at university, and a friend of mine just, suggested that I could have a session, like a regular session, wrestling session with someone, and get paid for it. And I was like, yeah, sure, fine, let's do it. Because I'm always like, it just sounded incredibly fun. So that's what I did. And the actual concept of session wrestling, I did not know about that yet. But this one-time occasion, it was a lot of fun. And this, well, client, I guess, told me, yeah, there's this whole concept of session wrestling, and you can make money from just doing this, like fighting guys. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Is this for real? Like, does this exist even? And then I kind of forgot about it. And then at some point, I was kind of tired of my current job, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna like try this thing again, like see if I get any interest in it, because it always like kind of was in the back of my head that, because it was so much fun, and I'm pretty good at it, if I say so myself. And yeah, from one thing came another, and I just built my website and got it going. I even changed my living room into a mini dojo, and that's the story, kind of.
I love it. And first and foremost, I look at it from a stance too as well. A lot of people don't realize what I love about it too as well. There's so many different preferences and uniqueness when it comes to session, many different types. And I think for people in clientele, especially yours and everybody who does sessions wrestling, we get to really open up our minds and really expand our horizons to what we like. And I think it's very interesting, and it's also very cool, and it shows a lot of different lifestyles and a lot of different genres and subsets for what people really like. And I think it's great to have that open-mindedness when it comes to the session world.
My cat totally agrees. I'm gonna put her. No, I agree so much. Like, I offer also like a wide variety of sessions, and I've always been like an open-minded person. I'm not judgmental, and as long as people have fun and not causing each other harm, like I'm up for like a lot of things. And that's so interesting for me that I have so many different types of clients. Like, personally, I really love to, like get it on to actually fight. But just as much as fun to, have some kind of fantasy session, or like accommodate someone in his or her fetish, which can mean like so many things, like role play, like domination kind of fetishes. And I kind of like to do like all of that. And yeah, it's such a nice, playful environment with everybody. And yeah.
I think what's great about it being a playful environment, I'm going to say this right now. I've seen you rock the black, which I got to say you do in great, amazing style, by the way. It's very nice and you look good. I have to add that in there. But god dang, man, you look at it from the dominatrix side of things. And I think it's kind of like, as some people say, let our freak flag fly. But also at the end of the day, the dominatrix world is so interesting as well, to really become the mistresses and just being that submissive type, and really that role play, like you mentioned. Like, it's such a popular subset and popular category for a lot of people to get into. Like, it's very interesting to have that role play, to reiterate that point, but also at the same time, it's like, it's very interesting. It's very kinky, if you will, but also at the same time, that playfulness to it also helps too. Because sometimes you need to spice it up, and sometimes you really need to just explore, something that may be different, maybe taboo, but at the end of the day, if it's something you like, then really continue on that path and just really continue on the dominatrix side of things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just what you said. And like about the playfulness, I am always very playful, but if there's a need for of like from someone to be like for me to be a little bit more serious, and then once I get it going, I really like naturally get into that role, and I really love it. I can really like be strict and dominant, and like honestly, I love guys who love like dominant women. They come in all forms and shapes. They can be like very super submissive and shy, or kind of like a brat type that's I really have to physically overpower before they will listen to me, and also eroticism involved. And yeah, I just like to adjust to my clients, like what type of client do I have, what does he or she want exactly from me, and usually I am able to accommodate that. Like at least I try my best. And for the dominant part, like I'm a sweet girl, but yeah, I'm just deep inside. I'm still like a fighter, and I have this natural dominance, and I just love to bring that out. Like definitely.
Right. And I look at it from a stance too as well. What I also like about it is you get to see so many different types, but also not just the types. What I love about it too as well, like being us dominant men. And I'll be honest, we like a lot of dominant, strong women like yourself. And I think what we need a lot more of that too is as well that really gravitates towards us. It's that swag, it's that confidence that you ladies possess that really kind of gravitate towards like we need that domination, we need that submissiveness. And one thing is for sure, and I can see it with your clientele, Amada, and how you portray yourself. And I'm going to say right now, you got that very much goddess Amazonian like structure and status about you that really is very powerful and very rewarding to a lot of us men. So it's one of those things at a stance too as well, where you have that gravitational pull, and it shows within your work that kind of has had that gravitation towards you. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody involved, and I think that's how it should be all in all.
Yeah, again, like totally. I think it's so much what gives me that is like of course I'm tall as fuck. I'm like 6 feet. That kind of helps. I'm naturally strong, although I might not look as strong as I actually am. All these things, of course, help with like the domination aspect, but it also is attitude. And the attitude, like I told you, I like my mom put me in like martial arts training and judo when I was very young because I was shy. And from that, I just started kicking ass, and that shyness just gradually like went away. And just the fact that I know martial arts, I know how to fight, or at least I know something about it. It changes your whole way of being, like the way you stand, the way you walk. Like I mean, I turned from really shy and introvert to like I am afraid of nobody. You know what I mean? Like I can walk on the streets in the middle of the night and not be afraid to be attacked. And I think that's what makes like sport, like overall, but especially martial arts, so valuable for women to yeah. I just think it's so helpful in like throughout your whole life, and because that was my basis.
I think what's cool about it too as well, and I'm going to say right now, the fact that we have that discipline where you get involved in mixed martial arts or martial arts in general, having that black belt and really taking the layers and the levels, so to speak, of how you get to that craft and apply your craft is also, it's very cool. It's very interesting. And having that background in judo, it helps also with sessions wrestling and also really providing the variety with your overall discipline in your craft. And what I love about it too, as well, is it also brings a lot of multifaceted stuff to your arsenal, to your repertoire, so to speak. So it really showcases how you provide yourself with your style, your content, and what you want to create. And I think we all need that too, because we need that variety in what we are disciplined in and also what we excel into, because we never stop going. And it also brings out that multifacetedness. And it really brings a lot to the table for any job, any type of endeavor, and anything that you really want to get into. So you have to admire that in the empowering role that it really showcases in our being.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know I've done multiple jobs in my life, and the funny part is that whenever I tell people, yeah, what did you do? What are your hobbies? And I even like when I had like how do you call this like a conversation with a potential employer, and I would lie a little bit, even though I was not training at the moment. I would just mention that I'm, a judo player, and that's my sport. And I noticed that they really have a lot of like respect for that, and it shows you that you have discipline, that you can be dedicated to something, and that helps you a lot throughout like life, work, work associated things, like even social life, yeah, the discipline thing, and that it really also learns you to be tough. That not everything is always painless, and if you like can transfer that idea to emotional things, like you have physical pain, of course, but sometimes things in life get hard, and if you have the basis, you know how to suffer, as so to say, then it can really help you a lot with just going through things and getting out of things, and just taking things further and being determined and not giving up. That's the most important thing.
Agreed wholeheartedly. And I mean, I look at it from a stance too as well. With every experience that a lot of men and women have, and I'm going to say this right now, when it comes to sessions, sometimes us men need a little good ass kicking, but also at the end of the day, what I think is great about it too as well, you learn from your experiences and your shyness and your swag. And a lot of women, I'll be honest, with this experience that they have with men, show their empowerment to men, because mind you, in relationships and anything in general, from between men and women, good or bad, intergender as well, from like wrestling and in general as well, like intergender wrestling is a big thing, so between men and women it's become so big and popularized in sports, so it has that overall feel. And there's a lot of people that like mixed wrestling, intergender, however you want to define it. It's not something that was like very comedic back in the day, like in the 80s, like you would see like Andy Kaufman, God rest his soul, very famous comedian, did his thing with a wrestler by the name of Jerry Lawler, who was on the Tonight Show with David Letterman. It was a big thing. So you had that comedic aspect of intergender wrestling with Andy Kaufman, who was the intergender champion of the world. But now we see this different subset of intergender wrestling, mixed wrestling, what we see with Sessions. It's really had that evolution from a comedic side of thing, but now it's more like serious and it's ass kicking. So it really does show the strength and evolvement of how we really pursue a lot of things, whether it be the mixed wrestling community, the intergender community, or how we look at the Sessions wrestling community as a whole.
Yeah, yeah, it's like nowadays I think it's also like the amount of session girls, I think it's like growing. Like I am quite new to the scene, I have to say, but from like the information I got, I have a feeling that like more girls are doing it who are actually able to kick ass, first of all, but also more women who have that natural like dominant thing. Like a friend of mine, she is a mistress, a SM mistress, and I taught her some moves, like some wrestling moves and that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's sometimes she tells me it's still like hard because not a lot of women are naturally dominant, but I think you don't even have to be necessarily naturally dominant or an alpha chick or whatever to just try it out for once. Just feel secure of yourself and just go for a role play, even with your partner. You can be anything that you want basically, and just getting out of that standard box of being a woman and having to dress nicely all the time and be well behaved, be well spoken, and not speak up too much. That's like so, I don't know, like so 2001 or something. I think that's it's going like in a very like good direction with these things. I do more and more women trying to like look outside of the box that they might be allocated to. You know what I mean? I'm carrying my cat. She's also a lady. She's very stubborn. Wants attention. Like if she wants attention, just grab it.
I have a cat as well that does the exact same thing, so all good. But no, what I like about it too as well, because you're very correct on a lot of things. I mean, it's one thing to have like women who are just amazing from the prim and proper side of things, and you get to look nice and really from that internal and external beauty standpoint. But showcasing that ass chickery, I mean, you look in relationships like from 2002, we had the movie Enough with Jennifer Lopez. She's in a bad relationship, and then boom, she sticks up herself. Look what happened, right? Like you have that in popular culture, you have that just in general what we see now. And I think what's amazing too as well that goes back to the sessions, it's like diversity factor, like yourself, international talent, like we see international wise. It doesn't matter what shapes or sizes that we see in sessions. It's women really showcasing what we needed and what we've always known, but it's something that is finally really going towards the forefront. And I think that's amazing because if you look at the modeling side of things too as well, beautiful imagery, all different shapes and sizes with women. You connect on all different variables and factors, and it's a beautiful thing to see just how empowering women like yourself and women just in general of all facets of life are really showcasing their stuff through their experience and through just time. And it's beautiful, man.
It is beautiful. And what I also think is like on the other side that men are I feel like less men than in the past are trying to like hide this well their preference for dominant women. And like I have clients who not at all feel embarrassed for losing of a girl. Like this is just like a physical aspect and an example. But I think that is also just as important as like women stepping up and just like feeling whatever they want to do. And one of those things could be like being more dominant. I think it goes on the other side as well that like men are me, for example, I really appreciate or I can like really respect guys who don't feel embarrassed if they lose, you know, like who actually understand that women are so much more than, you know, just made out of a man, if you're a man's wit, whatever it was, you
Yep.
know. And I think that goes on both sides. And I think that development might even be more like interesting. And yeah, that's, I just felt like mentioning it's something I experienced and it's really, really nice, basically.
Absolutely. And I think what's amazing too, if you really think about it, it's like really men should not be embarrassed about this whole thing because there are a lot of guys that view this and it's like they don't want to admit it, but else at the same time, it's not a bad thing to admit like what you like because, and it just not just in general from the domination side of things and just in general, we see women like yourself. There's a lot of guys that kind of like keep it on the hush when you really shouldn't, because I think in the year 2022, you think we'd come as far as we are as people, but there's unfortunately some ignorant people out there. But at the same time, it's less ignorance now and it's more acceptance because for over 40 plus years or how many ever years you want to look at it, you look at women in a certain light, but there's women can do more than this and men can do more than this. And there's so much stuff to really hit upon that I think as a society, we have become more accepting of it and we become more accustomed to it. And I think that's how you have to look at it. And I think in the year 2022 and onward, we have this new generation growing up, men and women, and we get to surround them with this and provide knowledge that, hey, it's okay to do this, it's okay to do that, and not just have that one closed-mindedness, but more open-mindedness. And I think that's what we need more as people, and that's what we need more as a society. So I think if this is one layer to add on to that, it's beautiful, and you're creating more history in their liking.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we definitely need more of that, like in society. Like, I just discussed this with a friend and also a client of mine that, um, like, we had a discussion before, like about half a year ago, and I was like, yeah, not every guy likes this, and it was kind of you said like you're making estimations. He was like, yeah, I think that well, more guys than you might think would enjoy just a fight with a girl being dominated or specifically overpowered and just be not in that standard guy role. And I was like, yeah, well, maybe 30% of men. But then as I just like involved with my session activities and I, at some point my car broke down and I took a Uber a lot because I had some other job as well. And I just started to like speak to these Uber drivers, and they would like ask me, "Oh, what do you do for a living? Where are you going? Yada yada yada." And I just started to explain to them, "Yeah, look, I'm a session wrestler and I kick men's asses, mostly men's asses, for a living, and etc." And I spoke to many, like I don't know, like a lot. And none of them ever said like, "Oh, that's not nothing for me." Like all of them were like, "Whoa, that sounds pretty cool. Like I'm interested in this. And what is this thing?" And like I never got like a negative response or a like ooh response. And I even had men telling me stories. Yeah, like just spontaneously. When I was younger, I had this girl in my school, and like she's kind of hitting on me, and then we got into a fight, and she totally kicked me in the balls, or she totally kicked my ass, and like the fact alone that this comes up instantly, like this memory, I think it says enough that it's just it would be so good if it's society reaches a point where a man can just feel comfortable to not always be the guy. You know what I mean? To like also show their emotions, to show their liking for being submissive every once in a while or always or whatever. That is just more accepted, just as women taking the roles that whatever role they wish. So
I hear you. I mean, you have to have that not just from the sensual side of things, but also as men and women. I look at it from a stance too as well. Sometimes, and I mean, if that person can have that remedy, oh, I got kicked in the nuts and yada 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 as women, as a kid or what have you, and you experience that stuff. It's one of those things too as well where you need to have that type of sensitivity, because there's nothing wrong with showing emotions. Because in today's society, you're defined as being weak if you show emotion, especially as a guy. When it's like, no, we're all human beings, we're all sensitive. We have emotions, and sometimes
I mean, it like I would even say sometimes it takes balls to show your
right.
real.
Yeah.
It's so easy to turn everything into either like shutting off or being angry. Like some men have this thing, maybe also women, but they feel emotions and they just twist it around, take it, and turn it into anger. Like because that's that's an acceptable emotion, and just like I get aggressive or I just like but well, actually, maybe they're hurting or feeling vulnerable, and they're allowed to. I mean, who decided ever that females are emotional and men aren't? We're all humans, and we all have all sorts of emotions. So, yeah, I mean, I might be more aggressive than the average lady sometimes, and I like to take that out as well on the boxing side, of course, or during sessions, not in daily life.
No, I hear you. And I think what it is about men, and the term is often heard here, it's the machismo, if you will. It's the machismo of the, of the male species, if you will. But no, I think as people, we need to show that, and especially with mental health as it is, if you keep things bottled up inside of you, that's never good. Sometimes you have to show your emotions and just talk it out. Communication is key in anything, whether it be relationships or just in life, because that communication really goes a long way to really showcasing yourself and really showcasing your confidence and showcasing what really makes you as a being all in all. And I think what makes you as a being, and I have to get into this because boxing, judo, multifaceted, mixed martial arts, black belt sessions, I got to put in knife throwing into this because I was doing some stuff about you and, looking you up. Knife throwing, my goodness gracious, woman, that is something that really piqued my interest, because from the knife throwing side of things, just boom, that's just awesome. And it's also its uniqueness and also badassery at its finest.
Yeah, the thing is, maybe it's because I started like not traditional as a girl with judo, and I always played with guys and boys, and so I am more likely to, if I like something, I see something, I'm like, I want to do that, then I want to do that. And this also goes for knife throwing and a lot of weird things that I tried. But yeah, and then I just enjoy original, like traditional guy stuff so much. And one of those things is knife throwing. And also, I just happened to be quite good at it from the start. And I built myself this like target in my living room, and it's all like chopped to pieces now. But I recently ordered an axe, like a throwing axe, and it's just so cool. And obviously, I can totally defend myself from a distance now as well without carrying a firearm.
I will say this first and foremost as well. My version of knife throwing goes back to our popular culture days with Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker in Rush Hour when they're running from the bad guys and Jackie Chan's got the knife, boom. But no, I mean that is like that's knife throwing in my expertise in watching, movies as a kid. But no, I look at it from a stance too as well. Like it's so cool and it's very, like you mentioned, a way to defend yourself and also firearms and stuff and the discipline and that self-defense role. And it's something that a lot of people don't think about, but if you actually find out about knife throwing in this other layer of discipline and other forms of art form, you're just more adding to your craft and also adding to your discipline and adding to your physicality of what you could do, and also lets out emotion. So there's a lot of different layers of therapeutic side to physical side to discipline side that really encompasses everything that is involved in the craft.
Yeah, it's like you already said, like art. It just gives you like learning something, gaining skills in anything. Could be anything from piano playing to solving a Rubik's cube to playing chess, which I've been recently doing a lot. It just like kind of activates your brain in a creative manner. Like it also boosts your confidence because you get all these happy hormones from different things, and one of those things might be like adrenaline and yada yada from going for a run. But one thing that really provokes this, sorry, my English is not always on spot, but pulls out this happy hormone is like learning something, like gaining a skill. And that's what it is in essence, like knife throwing. You just get so focused, and it's almost like meditation. You're just with yourself, and you're just trying to learn this without pressure, and then taking it to the outside world. It's also a way of self-defense, which is really cool. Although I don't think throwing knives are legal here. Airsoft guns are, but throwing knives are not, which is like ridiculous in my opinion. But let's not get political here.
No. It's okay. I get it. But no, I mean, I look at it from a stance too as well, without getting political. That is very ridiculous, and how the rules are and the gate. We're not going to get into like guidelines and legislation and stuff, but yeah, it is what it is. A lot of stuff like that in America too. It's like one thing is legal, but one thing's not, and it's
can drive cars from 16, right? Am I right?
Right.
It's ridiculous. We're like, shit, children driving cars, those are like murder weapons basically. Like they have no but yeah. And then again, you can only drink alcohol from 21, 18, 20.
Well, 18 and 21 here in the States, 21.
See, like it's ridiculous, but okay.
I get it. Yeah, no, it's what we're also accustomed to and exposed to, and especially with the world how it is today, we all get exposed to a lot of stuff, and especially with the internet, the technology side of things, what we got to see, like it's a lot of positive and negatives in anything. Like the positive for social media is like it's at our fingertips. It helps us promote our brands or promote our beings. But the negative side of things is it's constant, as opposed to this being from a united, not divided front. Everybody's just constantly fighting, and it's ridiculous. So, you need more peace in this world, if you will, my friend.
Peace. I'm all about peace and love. And well, that's kind of contradictory. Well, kick ass with love. Like I love to kick ass, and I love to hurt people. No, I don't love to hurt people, but I like to, you know what I mean.
I hear you. No, you should put that on a t-shirt. I kick ass with love, and I love to kick ass. See, that's a t-shirt, and that's marketing right there.
Well, yeah, good marketing thing. Today I got so stuck in like Instagram, like scrolling through things. I'm like, what am I looking at? What am I wasting like 10 minutes of my life scrolling to nonsense?
Right.
I avoided it. Like I have an Instagram account now for my session work, and I like to update and post on it every now and then. But before that, I never had a personal Instagram account. Facebook also limited activity, so it's all new to me actually. uh, which people might find ridiculous, but I was never like, online presence person. So it's, I still have to kind of get used to it, but it has its benefits as well.
See, I can actually adhere to that. I get it. I can adhere and attest to that because I remember when the social media boom was so big. Like I graduated high school in 2010, and I remember I did not have this Facebooks and then all that stuff. I got it because a girl who I was friends with at the time, wanted to add me. I'm like, I don't do Facebook, and that was like a shock because Facebook's all the rage, and then you get on it. It's a promotional tool, but I think we all need that break from social media because if we're constantly on it and doing this all the time, you're going to drive yourself nuts. So it's a good thing that you're new to the whole thing because again, it's a good for a promotional tool, but if you're constantly on and just looking through stuff, you're going to get mad. Number one, number two, you're not going to be able to take down the damn phone. And number three, it could just be very detrimental to your mental and physical health. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's good about it and then there's stuff that's bad about it, but you can't be on it all the time because sometimes we all need that break, even if it's from social media. We need to pace ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I am one of those persons, or I don't know if there are even more persons like me out there. Like I suck with picking up my phone, and I like, sometimes it takes me days to respond to a message of a friend, and I try to appear on WhatsApp at least once a day, and then things build up, but I used to think of this as a really bad quality, and it's in a way still is. But like sometimes I go out and I don't bring my phone with me, and then I see everyone around me standing at the bus stop, like all looking at their phones like this, and I'm like, I don't really think I'm missing out on something. I mean, I can catch up whenever I want, and at least I experience like the actual reality, like the world around me, and I just really like to live in the moment and like the actual moment, if you know what I mean, not some, I don't know, timeline on Facebook or some, yeah.
I get it.
And
No,
yeah, I really try to, instead of making excuses all the time, I'm just like, no, this is how I am, this is just how I like it. I'll get back to you sometime today, but I don't always have my phone with me.
that
So
that's a good attitude. I mean, I look at it from a stance too as well. Growing up in the 90s, like I love going outside. I love shooting hoops. Hey, yes, right. like like I love just like going out and just shooting hoops or going out to like a playground or something. Like a lot of people don't do that nowadays because everything's social media. Like I think video games was another thing that really brought it into us because instead of going outside, we have video games right in front of us. But also that could have its positives and negatives too. But the thing is, we're ejecting ourselves from the real world and we're ejecting ourselves from actually doing physicality and stuff that can be very, not like positive towards the mindset instead of being something that's detrimental, which there's a lot of positivities and detrimentalities in this world. So it's one of those things where we've gone so far from just actually being positively proactive that we're just, I don't want to say it's like lazy, but we're just kind of accustomed to our world of just this is how the new normalcy is, so to speak.
it's an easy way of going, and that's why actual session wrestling, like real life, like body to body contact session wrestling, I think is so healthy, not only because it's a sporty activity and it's like gives people a chance to for once not be dominant but be submissive or be like overpowered, all those concepts. Like besides that, it's also like the actual physical contact, like with the corona thing going on, like people, they don't, like they almost like forgot how to hug each other. And it is actually scientifically proven that like physical contact, it can really like boost your immune system, all those kind of things. Like I've had clients then kick their ass, and then we hugged for a bit. And I think it's just so healthy to have physical contact and just see persons in real life. And it's that's something that like technology can never really replace. It's feeling someone's energy, and yeah, I think that kind of got lost with this whole period of viruses and changing like technology, etc., etc. But I think that yeah, that's one of the things that makes session wrestling so cool, and that's also why I really like to, just do it on my mats with actual clients instead of just like producing a video and putting it online once and then. So yeah, that's I just realized this now. That is one thing that I really like about it as well.
First and foremost, that is beautiful. I'm smiling at that answer because that also equates to what we have in life. Nobody does like face-to-face communication. It could be whether it be dating or it could just be friends or relationships, what have you. Everything is constantly a text or it's this and that. There's no physical like interaction. There's no like physical in-person meetings. And that's what's great about sessions. You get to meet the clientele, but also develop that connection with the clientele. And that also brings up more sessions and stuff like that. You have that communication factor and that bond, so to speak, with that said person. And we need more of that in this world. And that is also something from the camaraderie side of things. It just all adds up. And there's a lot of, cohesion and, cohesiveness to it that really showcases one's being and also brings a more, like we mentioned before, the art form and the craft. And it adds a lot onto it that a lot of people don't really realize and think about until you actually have that experience.
True, true story. I've before I did sessions, I had not done any type of like trainings or physical contact sport for like years and years. And then when I started doing this, I just realized how much I like to like contact, like physical contact with people. Well, like, I have a fly going on here, like flying around. So if
Okay.
I'm not seeing that. Yeah, I totally forgot about how much I love that because I started, for example, judo when I was really shy and like not socially awkward, but very introvert, which I am at basis. I still am. But that physical contact is a way of not having to speak necessarily and still interacting, and yeah, it's just great. I kind of forgot how much I enjoyed those activities like contact sports, etc. I played rugby for a while though, but that's kind of a different contact sport.
Hey, I've seen rugby. Rugby, you kick the crap out of each other. I'm aware of the rugby side of things. I get it. I get it. It's the multifacetedness about you too. You mean rugby, mixed martial arts, judo, like you're constantly on the grind. And some would define it as like tomboyish, but it's like, no, like guys and girls can kick ass in all different shapes and sizes in sports. Right. But I think what I love about it too is as well, like you have that ass kickery and badassery about you. Like you can defend yourself just like that. And it's great because I think a lot of women, like we were talking about experiences, like you look at Jennifer Lopez in Enough, like she went through an abusive relationship and then boom, takes out her husband because of years of abuse and that pent up aggression. You just can't take it anymore. So it doesn't matter whether it be an abusive side of things or whatever experience that you can have that can be very traumatizing. At the end of the day, you grow from it and you become stronger as a person. It's like that Christina Aguilera song, thanks for making me fighter. There's a lot of stuff that's very empowering in music, right?
Yeah, this is really true. Like I have my own experience with physical abuse, violence, and even in really like extreme forms. And I think I have been able to save myself, but not once or multiple times, because of like my martial arts background. That I started as a young girl, and it gave me this confidence, but also the ability to defend myself, and maybe also the resilience to like not let it get to me afterwards in terms of developing post-traumatic stress disorder or stuff like that, to being able to get over it. And yeah, I have some ridiculously funny examples of a stalker that I had that he was stalking me severely, like standing in front of my house, like almost every night screaming. The whole neighborhood woke up and police came, but yeah, then he fucked off. Excuse my language. And at some point, in the process, I went to his house to talk to him about his behavior. I did not know yet that he had like a history of mental, hospitalization and disorders, etc. So I just went over there to talk to him, and he did not accept what I was telling him, and he just started screaming at me. So I just wanted to go out of the door, then okay, fuck you. I'm not gonna continue this conversation. And I was already halfway to the door, and then he jumped in front of me, and he just like punched me in the stomach, in my plexus, and I went down because first of all, I did not expect it. Second of all, he's like a professional boxer. So I just, I had to catch my breath, etc. So I just sat back on the couch, and from he just like talk, scream, 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 and then I wanted to get up again, and then he kind of wanted to prevent me from leaving by jumping on me. So I basically just put him in a choke. I just wrapped my legs around him and just worked him off the couch. And I was holding him in, let's call it a triangle. And my stupid, sweet self just thought, like, let's get out of here and let's not hurt this guy. Which was a mistake, though, because I wanted to get up just to fuck off. And then he kept holding onto my leg, and he like bit me in my calf. And I have pictures from like the tooth marks in my calf. And then I got angry. Like then I had to like kind of like I had to kick his head and stuff to get out. And I do not regret this. And I do not regret being, knowing what to do in this kind of situation, to like being able to actively sort of defend myself. And yeah, it helped me so much. And it's not only for the actual physical defending yourself physically, but also like standing up for yourself mentally. Like those things go together.
Agreed. And well, first and foremost, I'm glad that you got through all that, because first of all, biting on the calf, you got him in a triangle choke, little go-go plata action. Like this is like a real life movie. Like you this is literally like you would see, like whether it be on a Lifetime here or Showtime or whatever, major movie network, that you would see stuff like this. It's like this is like the opening scene or like the climax of a scene where the girl's running away, and then we get into this. Like you're living a real life movie that a lot of people can unfortunately have dealt with this from day-to-day basis, but it's something that you learn from. And first and foremost, I'm glad to see that you survived that and you got through all that, because it's like you could use it as something that's like very traumatizing, or you could use it as something that's like, you know what, this was a situation I had, scary as shit because of the person, because you don't know what's going on up here, because that is very keen, because a lot of people don't realize that with individuals like this, you don't know what's going on up here, but you learn from it, and then here you are. So I mean, it's an experience, whether it be good or bad, it helped you, and here you are today.
Yeah, it's this is like the least of all incidents, but I went through so much worse stuff that actually at this point, this for me now, it's like afterwards I just had to like laugh my ass off. I had this like teeth mark in my calf. It was so ridiculous. Like I went over to the police station, and they like, I told them like, I've been bitten by a guy, and they were like, really, where? And I'm like, yeah, here, look. They're like, oh well, that's serious. I'm like, yeah, that's damn serious. But because I was kind of laughing about it, they also like did not take me serious at the first at the start. And yeah, it's just the ability to be able to like see this as a fun anecdote, which I really do, is it's worth so much. It's really worth a lot. And yeah, I think that all young girls should do judo. I really like believe that, but that's because my love for judo, I think. But at least, give them not the opportunity, but the option. Like just present the option to do something like non-girly, something, that makes them stronger, that learns them how to fight. And if they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it. But I think important to like show this option, you know, to young girls, because yeah, you can gain so much from it.
Absolutely. And I mean, I look at it from a stance too as well. Doing something like we mentioned, the positively proactive side of things, whether it be judo, whether it be sports or whatever it is, you realize like a lot of people who have gone through a lot of traumatic stuff or in a bad way, and you guide them towards that, like that could steer a kid or anyone from away from drugs or you doing a life of crime or doing stuff that's really, really bad. You don't realize like the influence and the impact of what you're doing that can help someone. So there's a lot of layers on that. And I think whether it be judo or what have you, if you have that outlet to turn to that helps you, and it could also help someone else and steer them away on the right path, that's it. That's the end game. That's the end goal right then and there.
Yeah, this is completely true. Like me myself, I had a period where I was I can take a lot of alcohol, and I had this moment period where I was drinking like, and I kid you not, a liter vodka a day. I was sort of, yeah, I was still functioning, but like that's not healthy, you know. And of course, I did not do that just because I was thirsty and there was no water available, but because maybe I had some issues going on, which by now I feel like I resolved them. But like, and you know, after a while, I got so like out of shape, and I just felt so bad physically, and that's kind of also what made me decide to, you know, kind of go back to something sporty, because I was used to being sporty, like being in the best shape ever. And, you know, I just didn't like the way I felt in my own body. And if I never had that previous experience of, you know, being so fit and also that discipline, etc., I would have never maybe coming back from that, that, let's call it just alcoholism, because that's what it is. So yeah.
No, I mean, I'm shocked by like drinking a liter and being a functioning alcoholic, which you see that a lot. There's people that either get high or they do drugs or they drink where they can still function. But at the end of the day, it's unhealthy, because at the end of you can't keep doing this and thinking like this is like the way, you know what I'm saying? And I love that. And I'm glad to see that you overcame that, because I think you have to have that change both mentally, physically, internally, externally, and have that provided of healthiness and really goodness, if you will, that we need, whether it be mentally, spiritually, and doing what makes you happy. That is something that is long lasting. That is something that's very apparent and all of us as people should do. And I think you found your way, and I think you found your path, and it's really beautiful to see. And I personally cannot wait to see what you do in the future, Amada.
Yeah, I cannot wait myself actually, because at this moment like this is my main job, my main income, like just sessions. And besides that, I'm studying, doing some online studying again, because my previous things like was not really for me. And I have, that's the fun part. Like, I don't know whatever the hell I am going to do. But I do think that is going to be something with this whole like wrestling thing and being physically active, and maybe like, you know, performance. And yeah, I'll see just where this whole thing takes me. And I'm excited like wherever that would be, because I'm doing now what I enjoy, and that's like very valuable. I really love it.
Well, you have a lot of admirable as well as desirable traits. You got the beauty, you got the intelligence, and you got the badassery. What else can a man want, and what else can anybody want when it comes to yourself, Amada? So you have a lot of great, amazing traits and qualities about you.
Well, I can't cook, you know.
I can't cook either, so hey, I understand. Nah, I get it. A lot of us can't cook. I remember, I'll tell you a funny story. So in the States, there was family consumer science. And for those that don't know what that is, it's almost like home ec. And we had to cook a lot of stuff. And I think one of the stuff I remember cooking as a teen was salads. There was tater tots and stuff like that. There was a lot, and croutons and shit. And I'm like, no, number one, it was early ass o'clock in the morning. It was too early. I had it first period in school. So I'm like, it's like 7 or 8 in the morning. And folks, I'm not cooking at 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock in the morning. So number one, there's that. And number two, yeah, I was not a good cook as well. So I'm right there with you. I couldn't even get like popcorn and shit back in the day. And that's some of the easiest stuff. And I love popcorn, but goddamn, man, Well, a lot of us were not great at home ec, so I hear you. It's okay.
Okay, good, good.
It happens. Not all of us are cooks. I mean, if you want to give me something like a frozen food and just eat it in the microwave, we're good. But yeah,
Oh, microwave, I do like make fresh things, but it's just not too complicated for me.
hey, I get it. Just give yourself a bowl of cereal, a little milk and cereal, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? It's the simple things. Keep it simple, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm like, I buy products and I just eat them one at a time. Like I take a cucumber, I'm like, and then yeah, I swear, like tomato. At least I get all the nutritions, in me, and that's just how I do it.
Very true. Just cucumbers, tomatoes. Oh, that's a variety. I like your style. It's the cleanse, man. It's not just a cleanse of what we do from everything with our strains and working out physically, but mentally. And you put whatever you put in your body, the overall everything that you consume in your body, whether it be just from the right foods, the right drinks, it makes a difference in the long run.
Yeah, it does.
And I will say this about you, because in the long run, there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of endeavors to pursue. And like I mentioned, I cannot wait to see what you do, Miss Amata. And what I cannot wait to do is have you back on the show for a round 2. So I'm going to say the overture's here. I'd love to have you back. It's been such a pleasure to speak with you today.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, you're such a lovely person and so much fun. Yeah, I really love that. Great talking to you.
Thank you. The feeling is mutual. And this is where I step back because, man, if y'all are not following Amata on the social media front and seeing her session stuff on sessiongirls.com and seeing her profile, let everybody know where we can find you on social media, Miss Amata.
I'm not sure, actually. I think it's amata.wrestler.
Yep.
At Instagram. So, yeah, easy peasy. Follow me. If you don't like it, unfollow me, but definitely give it a try.
Okay, I don't mean to laugh, but that's great. Follow me. If you don't, unfollow me. If you want, give it a try. I like that. You see, because nobody puts it as bluntly. It's that. It's just like, oh, follow me. Go ahead. No, if you want to follow me, cool. If not, whatever. It's blasé, but it's toughness. I like that. That's very blunt to the point. I appreciate that. Oh my goodness. But yes, no, the links to Amata's Instagram and her profile on Sessions will be in the description, as well as your website. You do have an amazing website to check out.
Oh yeah, my website. Yeah, I worked really hard for that because I built it myself without previous knowledge. So yeah, just for the sake of that, go check it out.
And Twitter front, are you on the Twitter front?
I am, but not active. So let's just,
Oh, understood. Hey, there's a lot of preferences with social media, so I totally understand. But yes, links in her description to her website, in her Instagram. If you want to see this woman kick butt, arm wrestle, take people to the ground, grapple, look at that strength. I love it. But yes, I cannot wait to see what happens with you in the future. And folks, to close this out, as I always say, and I mean this wholeheartedly when it comes to yourself, Miss Amata, beauty, strength, and dominance, the 3 key elements that make women the work of art that they are. And Miss Amata, I include you in those sentiments. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.